For 1 week in late October, Calrec played host to owner Mr. Chang and a team of engineers from Korean distributor Avix. They had travelled to Hebden Bridge with Calrec's Graham Murray and Ace Yip to begin acceptance tests on the Apollo and Artemis desks ordered by Korea's public broadcaster MBC. This was the beginning of the final phase towards completing Calrec's largest ever single order. Acceptance testing on these sophisticated desks is thorough, and there are many points to cover. Mr. Chang, seen here on the left, and his team spent several days at Calrec's R&D block testing and checking every aspect of the consoles. On the final day of this visit, we managed to lure Mr. Chang away from the testing process to give us his perspective on this significant piece of Calrec business. What were MBC's main selection criteria for these new broadcast consoles?
There are various important factors in the live broadcasting environment, but I think the most important aspect is the stability of the system. MBC's main selection criteria for these consoles were the stability of the system, the configuration of the redundancy, the reliability of the company, and by this I mean both the manufacturer and the distributor, and the quality of the after-sales customer support.
What was he able to tell us about the selection process?
There were fierce competition with rival digital consoles manufacturers, and each proposed console has its own pros and cons. There were many things in the MBC selection process, so it is not easy to ascertain where individual consoles scored higher, but none of them scored as high as the Calrec consoles for stability and reliability.
Why did MBC eventually choose to buy their consoles exclusively from Calrec?
This tender was managed in such a way that there were scores awarded on both price and on technical merits, with a reference point which had to be above a certain score. While Calrec's price were higher than some of their competitors, they received the highest technical marks of all. We believe that this result was achieved by the close cooperation between Calrec and Avix Tech.
What effect does he feel MBC's choice of these desks will have on the market's perception of Calrec?
Many Korean broadcasters have watched MBC's investment in Calrec's console with a good deal of interest. We believe that this sale will influence other broadcasters and help change the way they purchase broadcast audio consoles. We hope they gradually improve the way they unconditionally tender, focus entirely on price, and look at better qualified equipment. Many people in broadcasting will visit MBC and look at this system, and they will get MBC's evaluation of these consoles. In this case, if the Calrec consoles get a good evaluation, they will be more inclined to purchase Calrec products, and I believe they will do so.
As Mr. Chang rejoined his team for the next testing session, we were joined by Calrec's MD, Roger Henderson. How significant for the company is this sale to MBC?
It's the single biggest order for consoles that we've ever had, so the greatest number of consoles in a single order. So at that point alone, it's very, very significant for us. But it's significant because it's the major Korean broadcaster, and we're hugely honoured to have been chosen by them at the end of what, to be quite honest, has been an incredibly competitive process. This has been a bidding process which has been going on for the best part of a year or so, and you know, the world's not an easy place to do business these days. You fight for every piece of business you get, and I think it was a great testament to the work our sales team did in conjunction with our friends at Avix, Mr. Chang, that we actually won the business at the end of the day. So, you know, on a number of fronts, it's very significant for us.
And this is a really important time in the development of Calrec as a manufacturing company.
Yes, it is. We're currently engaged, and fortunately you can't hear us being engaged, in the building of a substantial new extension to the mill at the back of the mill, which will be purpose-designed manufacturing space to allow us to provide a much more efficient or have a much more efficient manufacturing environment. As you can imagine, this mill actually is really not purpose-designed for building modern technology-based products. The new facility, open space, will allow us, we think, to be much more efficient, both in terms of speed, in terms of fault finding, in terms of stock control, and provide an exciting new future for us in terms of our ability to be more efficient primarily.
What was behind the decision to invest in this major upgrade to Calrec's manufacturing facility?
Two main reasons. We've outgrown the building, it's as simple as that. Also, we've had to rent some premises across the river, so we've had to split the actual workforce across two sites.
How will this new facility benefit the people who work at Nutclough Mill?
Working environment's going to be better. We've already got a great team here at Calrec. It'll be a better working environment, certainly for the people in the manufacturing, and we'll get everybody, all the other arms of the business, back onto one site. And the actual new building is an open plan, purpose-built manufacturing facility, which will mean that we can flex up and down. Our business model's changed. We're selling far more multi-console network systems nowadays, and it'll allow the manufacturing facility to flex up and down and change to meet the business requirements.
How is work progressing?
We started cutting ground in May of this year. Fit out inside the building then will commence, and we're hoping to move in April 2014.
What next for this Yorkshire success story?
We've been working very hard for the last couple of years on extending our product range to allow us to address broadcasters who would perhaps like to buy our products but who generally find them too expensive and perhaps too sophisticated in some cases for what they need. So we've just recently launched a new product which is really targeted at perhaps those regional stations, both in our existing markets such as the USA and new markets such as China and the Far East. For people who are perhaps have an operational group or an engineering group who are perhaps trying to deal with many different aspects of the business, aren't necessarily audio experts, but nevertheless need the reliability and the capability of a Calrec product, but perhaps not the skills of an A1 mixer that's used to using them. So the product is sort of addressing a new price point, and will, I think, allow us to expand the business quite considerably in those new segments, as well as actually providing our existing customers with the ability to use Calrec consoles in applications inside their facilities, which previously they weren't able to do. So it's very exciting. You know, I think we're looking forward to another 2 or 3 years of quite substantial growth for the business. In fact, hopefully in perpetuity, but certainly over the next 2 to 3 years.